Hello everybody, I'm Chuck Wiger, Area State Senator, and today we're going to visit with Marv Koppen. Marv, welcome.
Thank you, Chuck. It's nice to be here.
Marv is active in so many areas of the community as an activist in various organizations. You have the Winter Carnival button on right now and been a leader in the Scouts. You also served on the Maplewood City Council for part of your service, and additionally you're a business person owning Party Time Liquor. So entrepreneur, community activist, how do you do it? How do you balance all these activities?
I stay very busy.
Yes.
And I enjoy it.
Yes, you certainly do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that and how you got involved. But first, for our viewers, tell us about your path to Maplewood. Where were you born?
Actually, I was born in Iowa.
Okay.
In 1959, my dad bought a Gamble hardware store in Leroy, Minnesota.
Leroy, Minnesota, from Iowa to
Yes.
Leroy, Minnesota.
And then after...
That's where Don Regan from Maplewood Bank, I believe, was from.
Yes, he was from Leroy. He had the Ford dealership there.
Okay.
He left in 1960 when he bought the bus company up here.
Yes.
I left in 1980 when I bought the liquor store up here.
Okay.
So it's been 38 years since I've been in business now.
Great. And tell us, I believe you were trained actually to be a teacher.
Yes, I went to be a DECA teacher, distributive education teacher.
Okay.
But at that time, there were no jobs.
Mhm.
So I ended up going back and running my dad's hardware store to 1980.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the education that you had in distributive education, which is used for training students as an instructor, you could actually apply that with your own experience at the hardware store and then taking the big step to having your own business.
Well, you have to, you create good employees by teaching them the right things to do.
Yes.
And you have to have really good employees these days. Customer service is so important.
Yes. So you moved up to Maplewood to get the business, and is it the business where you're still at Party Time?
Yes.
Liquor? So, and how many years have you been in business?
38.
And that is remarkable, where the average amount of time for a small business is usually less than 5 years. And
The restaurants is worse.
Yeah.
The average restaurant doesn't make it past 2 years.
Okay. And for you, it's been all about customer service.
Yes.
And
And being involved in the community.
yes.
My dad was very avid about that. He always said you should live in the community you have your business in. He
Yes.
was always very adamant about being involved in the community.
And being involved, you certainly are. And you got involved in politics, you still are, and contributed part of your skills, and the contribution was serving on the Maplewood Council. Tell us about what led you to that decision.
Well, that was you, Chuck. We were down here at the Capitol, and you made the remark, do you want to run for the school board or the city council? And I said, well, I don't want the school board. Okay, then you're going to run for the council. And then, what's his name from the Space Center, wrote a check for the filing fee for me, Malcolm McDonald.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
so
how-
you were active in the East Side Area Business Association at the time, called the ISABA.
Yeah,
And
I'm still involved.
Yes. And so, yeah, people, in fact, when I worked for the Chamber of Commerce, we had a lot of programs to encourage business people to get involved in the process, and recognizing that it can have a positive impact on your business as well, but to be proactive. And so you decided to run for the city council, and that turned out well?
Yes. 17 and a half years.
Yes. How many years again?
17 and a half years.
That's a long stint. And so some of the highlights that you'd like to share with viewers about serving on the council.
Well, probably one of the first things we did was that we never had a business retention program. Gary Bastion was mayor at the time. And so we...
Now Judge Bastion?
No, yeah, now retired, he's retired at the end of the month.
Yes.
But,
Yes, that's right. So people will
so the very
see that.
first place we visited was Schroeder Dairy, Rice Street. And they go, my God, this is the first time in 100 years anyone would even talk to us. And they were actually considering going to Wisconsin at the time. And George Rossback was on the council also, and he said to us, would you consider giving us TIF money if we stay here and expand? And George says, well, we never...
TIF being tax increment financing?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And we did.
Yes.
And that, that's why business retention is so important. You have to get out and meet these business people find out what their needs are.
Yes.
And and we did. That, to me, that was one of the most important things that ever happened in the city.
Yes.
You know, at that time, you got Southern Maplewood was developing. They had more housing starts going on all the time.
Yep.
And we were actually in a very good situation because we always had new tax revenue coming in every year.
Mhm.
Today, it's all different. Everything's pretty much developed. Now we got to look at how do you redevelop and create new tax base,
Yes.
and which we've been doing. On Frost Avenue, the two new buildings that went up down there,
Yep.
where the bowling alley used to be. Now they're going to redevelop where the Moose Lodge used to be, where the
Yes.
Moose Lodge is at. So those things are all happening. So.
A lot of work goes into that in terms of recruiting businesses.
Oh, yeah.
And then to retain them here, because
Yes.
there's a lot of other options that might be available.
Yes, and that's, you know, and I have to give our city council and our city manager credit for doing what they've done.
Yes.
You know, they followed through and they made these things happen.
And there's a formalized program that the of volunteers too. I believe that Mark Jenkins has
Yeah,
been heading that up.
Yeah, he's been on from the very beginning.
Yes.
And that was something that was instituted,
Yeah.
oh God, over 10 years ago now.
Yes. So that's a very important contribution that you've made, and we thank you for that. Any other highlight in terms of the public service? You get a lot of phone calls, and
I see it's so comical. I've been off for 3 years. People still think I'm on the council.
Yes.
They come and start asking me questions.
So I know that you get a lot of people when they come to your store that
Yeah.
they may share some ideas or suggestions.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's by being a business person on Main Street where you get to interact with people on a regular basis, rather than being at an office in downtown Minneapolis as an employee, you get a lot more feedback from people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. So you're engaged in getting input every day, and I think you work most every day. In fact, we had talked a lot about the change in the law, which would give the option for a liquor store to be open on Sunday.
Yeah.
And many of the stores, preferred to stay closed, but the law was changed, and so you're probably there
7 days a week.
7 days a week. I know you're a hard worker, and how's that working out?
For me, it's worked out really well. My youngest son's got a master's in Bethel. He does all the social media promotions.
Mm-hmm.
And today you have...
And that's important. Back 40 years ago, the social media wasn't a part of that
Right.
Marketing plan.
And you have to know how to utilize that.
Yes.
Facebook posts, all the different things that you can do.
Yes.
It's really important. If you don't know how to do that, you're kind of left out in the cold.
Okay.
So we kicked off the Sunday opening with a social media blitz with the in-store specials, tastings,
Yes.
to get people in, and it worked.
Okay. So, yeah, it's work, but there was a lot of creativity, and you had to step back. You listened to your customers, and that same formula that you had decades back, and as your father had said.
Yeah.
So good. You mentioned your son. Tell us about your family.
Oh, my oldest son, Charlie, he's in the Army National Guard.
Well, thank you.
He's been to Iraq twice now. Right now he's full-time up in St. Cloud. He's a mechanic on the Chinooks. My
Okay.
youngest son is working for me.
That's Charlie, and he
That's
went to
Charlie.
North High.
Yeah, North High.
Yep.
University of Minnesota.
Yep.
My youngest son, Brad, he went to University of Minnesota, and then he went to Bethel to get a master's.
Great.
He's working at the store right now.
And he's at the store with you.
Yeah.
And your spouse, right?
She was a nurse for Health Partners, and she retired a year ago in July.
Yes, and she was with Health Partners for quite some time.
Well, yeah, over 30 years.
Yeah. So when a Koppen gets involved with an employer, or if they're their employer, it's usually for the long haul.
Right.
Good. So, and in addition to community service, working 7 days a week at your business, which includes the family, you are very active in the Winter Carnival. And I see the button here for the Winter Carnival. Tell us about what drew you to that
I've been involved in
activity.
it for a long time, going back to the early 80s. The Wiger Business Association used to have a royalty program, and whoever won would compete for Queen of the Snows. So I've
Yes.
been going to coronations for over 30 years. And then in 2008 was the East Wind for the Winter Carnival. And it's like getting...
You were the East Wind. So,
East Wind.
yeah, and that's a lot of additional work.
Oh.
But it's fun.
It's fun. You do over 400 appearances. You go to different schools, hospitals, nursing homes. to visit people. You go to Canada.
And they look
Florida.
forward to that.
Oh, yes, oh.
Yeah, it's a strong,
You go to Children's
tradition.
Hospital and you interact with these young kids, and they just glow. But matter of fact, about 5 years ago, must be now, I sponsored a East Wind, and there was a young girl about 6, 7 years old that had cancer, and she always wanted to be a princess. So they made up a silver slip for her, took her to the hospital, and said, "We're looking for a princess. We're looking for a princess." And they put her on her foot. "Oh, you're the princess," and this girl just glowed. Just sounds wonderful. But unfortunately, so much of this stuff doesn't make the news. There's a lot of really good things that happen out there that doesn't make the news. About 5 years ago, one of the grade schools down the street from me in St. Paul needed new playground equipment.
Yeah.
And someone donated the money to buy it. They needed 200 volunteers to assemble it. And 500 people showed up. 500 people showed up to help with this project.
Yeah.
That just speaks volumes about a wonderful community we live in.
Yeah. Well, great contributions, giving back to the community, and the nursing home visits as well, and the crowning of the royalty, and different things. I bet you've made thousands of visits over the years, and you're still going strong.
Yeah. And I was involved I was a scout leader for over 20 years. Both my sons are Eagle Scouts.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah,
That's the highest achievement for scouting. A great deal of parent involvement in that, as you know.
Right.
So, and what inspired the inspiration for scouts?
Actually, I was a typical parent. You go to the scout meeting, drop the kid off, you come back an hour later, 2 hours later.
In Maplewood?
In Maplewood, yeah.
Yep.
Well, Dave Hart was a scoutmaster at the time.
What was that?
Dave Hart.
Okay.
He's still a scoutmaster in a troop. And he said, "Oh, by the way, Marv, we're going to film out in a couple of years. We need some help. Will you help us?" "Oh, sure." A couple months later, "Oh, by the way, we need a committee chair. Would you be involved in the committee chair?" Then the very first camping trip he takes me on is a winter camping trip. And I'm not prepared. So I had to borrow some equipment from another scout. It's below zero. That was my very first camping trip.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
And that's what got me hooked in scouting.
Great.
It's such a great experience with these young kids.
Yes. Well, and you took that to the limit with inspiring with your kids. So congratulations on that. And there's what I've seen and what you've done. It's hard for you to say no.
Yeah.
But these are great causes,
Yes.
and giving back to people, and it complements your own values personally, getting back to your dad, but also it's complementary to your business.
Well, this is what makes our community so wonderful. There's the volunteers in the community.
Yep.
Your Lions clubs, all your different social organizations.
Yes.
That's what makes the community wonderful. Is the community involvement.
Well, Marv Koppen, thank you for being an active, productive member of our area, the community, your public servants, the entrepreneurial role that you have, the success at 40 years, and no doubt it'll go more decades after that and through the family. So, any concluding words of wisdom you'd like to share with viewers?
Probably one of the most important things, especially you as a legislator, and you understand this, is that you have to communicate well with the public. We had this young kid that was our city engineer. And when you talk about raising taxes, usually you get a big crowd. This kid was a good communicator. When we had this issue with streets falling apart prematurely, and they need to be repaired. And he came up with the idea of having a gas franchise fee. I think $2 a month, $3 a month, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And this kid did a wonderful job communicating with the public. So when we had the public hearing, we didn't have any objection to it. One person came to the podium and said, "Could you raise an extra $1 a month so we can fix even more streets?"
Yeah.
This is how important communication is.
Yes. Excellent advice, Marv Koppen. Thanks for all that you do. And for many of you that know Marv, I'm sure you join with me in thanking him as well for his contributions to our area. And if you have anything you'd like to share with him, you know where he works. If you'd like to share ideas continually with me as well, give me a call. My cell phone is 651-770-0283, and we can talk or set up a meeting. Be happy to do that. Thank you.